The Green Destiny's Perspective. Chinese Culture and Thoughts in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I recently re-watched classic movies and have a different feeling. Particularly interested in the perspective of the Green Destiny. The Green Destiny, it can be said to be a witness. It not only has the 100 years of historical experience. As a famous sword, it is destined to be involved in an environment of power, struggle, emotion, and grievances. It is also a symbol of desire, fame, fortune, and freedom. So, I sorted out the context. Follow the Green Destiny to experience it again. According to the Green Destiny's perspective, it can be divided into three narrative lines. The emotional line of Li Yubai and Xu Lian. In fact, it is the life trajectory of a normal person. The storyline of Shun can be divided into two. The destiny line and the emotional line are the spiritual pursuit and the physical experience. Take a look, Li Yi's emotional line. I don't know if other people are strange. Now the two fell in love, but because of the engagement, the two did not show their feelings. Engagement. Is it so powerful? Does it have legal effect? Or can it dominate public opinion? Or is it the psychological funked iron of the individual? I see. Li Yu's ideological constraints came from two aspects. The so-called, the Giang Hu. In literature, the masters of the Giang Hu are generally respected and possess great skill. And a well-known weapon, more like the jade seal of the kingdom, symbolizes status, power and prestige. This is why a group of people from the Giang Hu came to Li Yubai to preside over justice. Even if the Green Destiny is not owned by Li Yubai, the people from the Giang Hu will gather to elect a leader, or face one person together. Just like the Iron Army who came out first to speak in the Juxinglu. Or in Demigods and Semi-Devils, the people in the Juxianzhuang are facing Qiao Feng. In Relying on Heaven to Slaughter Her Dragons, it is the same as facing Mingjia in Guanmingding. Ironically, Li Yubai taught Jen, like most things, I am nothing. It's the same for this sword. All of it is simply a state of mind. He knew that the Jiang Hu was full of BLO, OD and grievances, and he also knew that someone was waiting. But he was still reluctant to give up these. After the Green Destiny was lost and regained, he admitted that he was attached to it. I think here is not only the attachment to the sword itself, but he has discovered the true thoughts in his heart. On the other hand, the restriction is the Taoist thought of entering the world. And the concept of accepting disciples, which also hindered Li Yubai pursuit of feelings. I'm not saying that he is hypocritical, but he is quite contradictory. In the song Dynast, Y, True Unity Sect, entered Wudong Mountain. The True Unity Sect can marry or become a monk. Zhang Tianxi's lineage is inherited from his descendants. Therefore, objectively, Li Yubai can get married. Taoism advocates, Tao follows nature, but this person is suppressing his nature. Taoism advocates that, I am the master of my own destiny. At first, this sentence mainly meant that by eating refined pills, one can strengthen one's body and live on life. The meaning of follow-up is not only the body itself, but also extends to destiny. The engagement book looks like a layer of paper. For a tangled person like Li Yubai, what power is there to break through the barriers? Xu Lian. At the beginning, Li Yubai gave a sword to Sir Ti, and decided to retreat to the Jiang Hu, which actually implied that he decided to retreat with Xu Lian. When the sword arrived in Beijing, Sir Ti explained the mystery of sending the sword, and the emotion of the two. Xu Lian thinks that the facts are not what Sir Ti thinks. Does she really think so? I guess so. She mentioned to Jen, she also longs for freedom, but she has never tasted it. It can be seen from her speech, and demeanor that she is loyal and honesty. Even Li Mubai wants to make an exception to accept a female disciple. Still can't see any changes in Xu Lian's tension, words, and actions. She is probably mainly bound by the Confucianism. In fact, in ancient times, there was no law prohibiting divorce and remarriage. During the Qin and Han dynasties, women remarrying is also very common. However, in the later period, after the admiration of the kings of the past dynasties, and the praise of celebrity poems, a kind of national ideology and social atmosphere was gradually formed. From the beginning of Qin Shi Huang, he has been persuading chastity to build Huaqingtai specifically for the widows of Beijing. Statistics show, from the Zhou dynasty to the 5 dynasty, there were 92 recorded chastity women. In the Qing dynasty, there were 2,100 people in Xining County, Anhui. The total number is as high as 1 million. A person living in a social atmosphere where the Qing dynasty values female chastity so much, even if she doesn't care, still can easily fall into oral kidnapping by her relatives. It is not surprising that Xu Lian accepts these dogmas by default. The relationship between these two people is about the typical society of the time. Although Li Mubai held Xu Lian's hand, this action is probably only a staged progress. But just like Li Mubai asked Xu Lian to wait in order to accept disciples, I guess, if it were not the last accident, he would continue to struggle. Can only death be able to break through the layers of restraint? Some people say that Zhen is the incarnation of desire, and Xu Lian is an ordinary person. You and you are both external and internal, and I also agree with this view. In addition, from a spiritual level, one Zhen and Xu Lian met for the first time. Through the green destiny, Zhen expressed her view of the world, freedom, fun, and yearning. Stealing a sword for the first time. During the day, Xu Lian mentioned that Xuanpin, swordsmanship, however, called for the green destiny. I think this is one of the motives that caused Zhen to steal the sword. What she learned from her master was exactly Wudang's Xuanpin swordsmanship, so she wanted to borrow it for fun. And easily broke the moral constraints. Return the sword. I guess, Zhen's behavior at this time is relatively simple, innocent, and curious. So at this time, she still considers her family's reputation and safety. After all, because she stole the sword, it indirectly led to the death of the policeman, and it was already known to everyone. Steal the sword again. Her parents asked her to marry someone she didn't like, and she could imagine the boring and desperate life in the future. So she finally chose to escape the marriage. Here is actually abandoning the shackles of family affection. Enter the Giang Hu. People from the Giang Hu communicate and compete with each other, and there is another set of rules. She does not consider the decentness of other people at all, regardless of the restrictions of the Giang Hu. After that, Zhen approached Xu Lian for help. It was warm at first, but when she heard Xu Lian's discipline, she wanted to leave again. The break between Zhen and Xu Lian. From the perspective of language confrontation, preaching, ring, ordering, and escalation. From a spiritual game theory perspective, Xu Lian represents traditional values. It is also the concept of Zhen being taught. The other side is Zhen's rebellious spirit. Finally, morally take away the sword that does not belong to her, which symbolizes the struggle and break between the spirit and the body. Also broke free of the shackles of friendship. Fight against Li Mubai in the bamboo forest. Zhen said, "If you can take back the sword in 3 moves, I'll go with you." But when Li Mubai took the sword back and asked her to kneel, Zhen did not agree. Here I think, Zhen believed that Li Mubai had not tried in the way she had expected, and refused to accept it. Then Li Mubai threw the sword into the pool. When Zhen didn't hesitate to jump into the water with the sword. I guessed it. Between master and apprentice fate and the green destiny, she chose the latter. Even if she is apprentice at the moment, her disposition is not subject to discipline. After being drugged, although it is asking another person, is it me or the sword you want? Butchden, who had been holding the sword firmly in her hand, was obviously between lust and sword, and once again chose the latter. As mentioned earlier, the green destiny here symbolizes desire, fame and fortune, rights, and freedom. Yu Jialong's dedication to the green destiny is actually a spiritual yearning for freedom. The emotional line of Jen and Lo. Here comes a new factor, the comb. I think it symbolizes love, desire, and flesh. What's interesting is that this story is almost connected by a comb. Similar to the green destiny process, it also experienced the turning point of Jen's persistent pursuit, sending it back, and ending it out again. At first Jen was playing with a comb in her hand, and then Lo snatched it away. Jen chased and fought Lo all the way to get the comb back. Then, there was the love story afterwards. Return the comb. Lo came from Xinjiang and invited Jen to elope. After being rejected, he returned the comb. Here, I think the reason why Jen rejected Lo was not because she was afraid of family power, or the safety of her family. This can be confirmed from later episodes. When the two were in Xinjiang, Jen made it clear that she did not want to return to her original life. But Lo said, he will make his mark on the world and earn Jen's parents' respect. I think here, Jen has already determined that this relationship, this person, is not what she expected. Lost thoughts are the same as those in the original circle. That's why she chose to leave Lo at the beginning. So when this person appeared in Beijing and invited her to join him again, she flatly refused. When this person left, she did not change her eyes at all, did not look back, did not hesitate. Maybe a little bit reluctant, but she decided to abandon love. Escaping marriage. Jen ran away from home. I think this is just an opportunity. Even without Lo, she would not live in peace after marrying. Because her personality has a rebellious factor. It's like she used to steal the green destiny from Sati Mansion, for fun and regardless of morality. In her opinion, the rules are just shackles. When Lo's arrow was inserted into the sedan chair, Jen saw the arrow and remembered her dream of the Giang Hu. So she ran away from marriage and abandoned her family. She stole the green destiny again. Then that she would be more free and comfortable in the Giang Hu. She didn't want to go to find Lo. This shows that love or physical lust does not bind her so deeply. It is possible that she is just on a whim, or wants to experience it. Jen no choice. The comb was left to Lo. I think it is a symbol of this flesh, love, and desire. In fact, it is exactly what Lo is pursues. Jen pursues the opposite. This ending seems to be decided from the beginning. These protagonists gathered in Beijing from various places, and their purpose was not to enter the besieged city. Whether it is a monk living in the verdant mountains, or the bandit leader on the endless grassland, or the headquarters boss walking in the central plains. Although the living environment is not restricted by walls, everyone has their own walls. When they gathered in the city, conflicts concentrated. And the official lady, who was surrounded by palace walls one after another, understood and experienced it. She is not unable to go home because of the external environment, causing trouble, or losing her virginity. It's just that no matter where the body goes, she needs to follow the various constraints of the society, so she finally got rid of the body, and the shackles of love. The choice is in the heart, the pursuit of freedom, not escape. Is it necessary to give up so much in order to pursue freedom? Morality, social rules, family affection, friendship, love, mentorship and apprenticeship. I think, maybe we should look at it the other way around. everywhere is suppressed and no exit can be found. So there is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. On the first level, it embodies the Chinese concept of the golden mean, the doctrine of the mean. Real sharpness comes without effort. Another level. As Li Nibai said, Giang Hu is a wood of tigers and dragons full of corruption. The Hu, man heart is also like this. The third level. The overall social atmosphere restricts humanity and rules suppress thoughts. You are required to lie down, hide your sharp claws. Hide your abilities, suppress your desires, and stay peacefully in the squares drawn for you.